All right, so we move into the conversation now, and what an incredible, difficult segue for Jennifer Errington, who is now on the program, Stick and Hack Show. Jennifer, welcome into the show.
Hey.
So we brought the entire mood down here so we could bring you onto the show. Hopefully that worked for you.
Setting the stage.
Yeah, we're setting the stage. You're Jennifer Errington from North Carolina. She's a golfer, a lawyer, volunteer, an ice skater, and now you're on the Stick and Hack Show. My God, can your life get any more complete than this moment for you? All right, so you are a native of Charlotte, North Carolina. You're a licensed trial attorney. And you practice primarily on criminal defense, family law. You're working on your MBA currently, and you are a golf enthusiast. You are a golf instructor and teacher and volunteer. Golf is in your blood. You're a trained skater and athlete, and then now you're a golfer. You've got a lot going on. Tell us a little bit about your world currently in North Carolina and what brought you to this wonderful game.
Yeah, so, as you said, I just always have things going on, very, very involved. And then I started golf when I was probably 6 or 7, I would say. Started with my dad, and so grew up playing. I was very lucky to be on a golf course, grew up on a golf course. So like you said, it's kind of always been in my blood around me. And then I took probably 10 or 15 years off, didn't touch a club, went to school, went to law school, graduated, started practicing, started making some money, getting some traction. And then a couple of my friends were into golf as well. My dad had been playing this whole time, and I just picked it back up. And, I try not to have many regrets or anything, but I wish I wouldn't have taken that time off, but here we are. And
so there's
very, very thankful.
There's a fluidness to both of the sports that you love, ice skating and golf. There's a fluidness in swing, fluidness in movement. Do you think that was by design that you gravitated towards both of those sports?
Absolutely. Yeah. There's a lot of similarities between golf and figure skating. I think one of the biggest things is just overall balance. It's incredible. You don't think about it. A lot of times when we're standing over a golf ball, we're thinking, all right, keep your head down, hands, grip, feet, or when you're skating, balance, bend your knees. When you get in these sports, you kind of think individual body parts and movements. But at the end of the day, it's a whole body movement. The swing is incredibly fluid. Anytime you do something on the ice, every muscle is activated. So there's a lot of crossover between the two sports. And I think that's why I picked up golf, because I started them about the same time, maybe skating a little bit earlier. And the training and kind of the balance and the core kind of lends itself to both sports. So there's definitely a lot of similarities between the two.
That's wild. I'd never really thought about that way, but yeah, that totally makes sense to me.
No, I hadn't either. And when you watch figure skating, it's as similar to watching a pro figure skater is similar to pro golfer. It looks so effortless,
right,
and so easy, and you don't realize truly how much is firing at all the same times, and the work that's gone into that sport, and finding we've never had a figure. You might be surprised here, Jennifer, but this is our first figure skater on the Stick and Hack Show.
That's right.
That's shocking.
Yeah, it is. I know. We couldn't believe it.
Hey, we're breaking barriers.
We are breaking barriers here, one person at a time. So you said you started golf at an early age, and then you took it off, and I think probably Mike and I both can relate to the fact that is one of those regrets, one of those moments where you think, my God, if I had just stuck with it, where would I be with it today? But you've got back into the sport, and now you're doing some other things within golf. You're not just going out and playing on Saturday.
Right. Yeah. So definitely the biggest thing that I'm involved in is First Tee of Greater Charlotte. It's a fantastic organization. There's lots of First Tees around the country. It's a national organization, different chapters. Really, really cool opportunity to work with kids anywhere from 3, 5 up into high school, and kids trying to get a scholarship. So it's very customizable. You can get in as a coach, as a volunteer, and kind of pick whatever age group you want to work with and get involved on a weekend or take trips. It's whatever you want to do, but it's so cool because there's so many options. And I've been involved in it about 3-4 years now, and I absolutely love it. So I'm a volunteer and a coach. So I like the age range 3, 5, 7 when they're a little bit younger. And that's just, you can kind of see the mentality and just get in there and kind of help them with an introduction to the sport and kind of hopefully plant some seeds that they will want to continue the sport later on in life. but I've loved it. It's been fantastic.
Right. And, what are some of the things you think we need to do to get kids more involved in the sport and then keep them interested, as they get older? I think that's one of the things that I find, and kind of like what you talked about, how you stopped playing the game and then you picked it back up and you regretted that. I've got so many friends that I know that they played golf and junior golf with me when I was younger, and then they either decided, I'm going to play baseball or football or whatever, and they didn't pick up golf a little more seriously when they were younger. And then now as adults, they all tell me, they're like, God, I wish I had stuck with golf and concentrated on golf, because now I play it all the time and I feel like I'm like starting, behind the 8 ball from a lot of other people.
Well, to be fair though, I'm also the product of somebody who did stick with golf. So it could go either way.
That's just lack of talent.
It could literally go either way.
We can't fix no talent.
So what do you think, Jennifer? How do we keep kids focused? How do we keep them to that tipping point of being hooked with this game? So you said that 3, 5, 6, 7 range, which is the most impressionable age. Mm-hmm. I've got kids that age. It's insanity. How do you get them to that next point where they go, look, this is going to be a lifelong sport that I want to be a part of well into my late years?
Yeah, I think just creating fun experiences and memories. That's kind of something that I go back to, thinking of my golfing days with my dad or skating. There are so many times when, it was hard and frustrating, but going beyond that, there's just so many memories where it was fun and exciting. And I think it's important to create situations where, you take away the competition, take away the training, and you just let them have fun. And the thing about golf too, it's such a lifestyle, and there's so many life applicable lessons as well. It's fun, it's outdoors, but you can teach kids confidence and vision and, integrity and sportsmanship and so many little things like that you can start introducing in a very simple, very approachable way, 3, 5, 7. And then that can tie into the sport. So instead of just focusing on, for instance, I'm going to say baseball. I know nothing about baseball, so that's the disclaimer. But, just focus on hitting the ball or having good technique. But I think it's important to build those other life experiences and lessons and just making it a fun experience.
Yeah.
Well, Mike, you and I talk about it all the time, and that's one of the things we just talked. We had our guest Jim Dodson on a couple shows ago, and that was his thing too. This is a lifelong sport, but more importantly, it is something where people connect. And if we can teach these kids that some of their lifelong friends will come from the game of golf, which is insane to think. You're telling a 7-year-old, hey, in 20 years, you might still play golf with this person. And when you hear the PGA stories and the LPGA stories that so-and-so played with this person in college and played in high school, and they used to practice together on the range, those are the stories where you go, my God, I had no idea that they've actually been playing golf together for 25 years.
Yeah, it's some of my closest friends are guys that I started playing junior golf with, and we've just always been able to keep that connection, and it's because of golf. Because anytime, even if we haven't seen each other for a while, it's one of those, hey man, how you been? Let's go play sometime.
Right.
Right?
That's the, I mean? And that's
it's such an
guys.
easy way to stay connected to people for a long time in your life, and because there's so many other things that happen throughout your lifetime that take you different places, and golf is like that one thing that can always keep you coming back to people. And
Jennifer Errington is our guest from North Carolina, lawyer by day, golfer in the afternoon when she takes off early to go and volunteer at the First Tee. Do you have those speeches with those kids? Do you talk to them about lifelong dreams being fulfilled because of golf, the way golf and business collide? And is that something that they could even comprehend, or are you just like, hey, come out here, putt the ball, hopefully you're going to make it, have fun, and meet some new friends that you'll love golf?
I think it's kind of a combination of both. So I think it's important to kind of start mentioning those themes early. For instance, tell your partner good job, or that was a good shot, or handshake, and kind of teach them, what do you do at the end of the round? You take your hat off and you shake hands, or say good putt. So I try and start integrating some of those themes early. Obviously I'm not going to tell a 3-year-old, hey, you could really get into a good school if you do well, but you can kind of start telling them, hey, this is fun. You can do it for a really long time and, meet really cool people and have experiences. So definitely, I like to kind of weave in those lessons early, but just at a very age appropriate way.
Yeah, great. That's awesome.
So you have said that some of your best rounds and the way you got started with the game was with your father. And that seems to be the story that we hear often. Mike, the same way, grew up around a golf course. Pete Dye, for instance, father grew up around a golf course and got interested in that. That seems to be typically the precursor to that sport. Are your parents or somebody in your family bringing you onto the course? Would you say that some of your best moments in the sport of golf and in your life have been on the golf course with your parents?
Absolutely. Specifically with my dad, he was my first role model growing up. I even remember I was 2-3 years old, and he's a doctor, and I would watch him going to work every day. And I just remember him being so happy. He would have his tie and briefcase and a cup of coffee. And from a very young age, I think he was teaching me discipline and hard work. And I really looked up to him, and I still have that image in my head. And I think that's one of the things that's really driven me to try and accomplish as much as I can and be the best person I can. So the ability to play golf and be out and learn the sport with my very first role model has been absolutely amazing. And definitely my best memories and rounds. And, like we're talking about just life experiences and lessons, and you hit a good shot, great shot. If you hit a bad shot, he would talk through, well, don't get upset. It's okay. And just keep going, and life goes on, and you focus on your next shot. So a lot of those things that we hear, on TV or from players or read in books are great. But when you hear it coming from your role model and your dad, that's even better.
Yeah.
So it was incredible.
Awesome. How would you say your role is in getting more girls, females involved in the sport of golf and bringing them up in a young age and being that role model that your father was for you, that maybe they don't have in golf, but that you want to be a part of that with the first tee of Charlotte? How important is that role to you? And could you look back in 20 years and see one of your students performing and doing well in life because of golf? What do you think that might feel like down the road?
Absolutely incredible. I take that role very seriously. I think it's very important. Golf is still very male dominated. We are getting away from that, which is awesome. It's not going to happen overnight, but there definitely has been a shift, which I'm very, very excited to see. So I do think being able to have a female role model in golf is, absolutely one of the most important things that they can have. So I definitely, I do treat my, male students and female students the same, but I can see relationships, because a lot of this is about relationships and about being a mentor. And so a lot of the female students will just bond more easily and feel safer and more comfortable. So, you recognize that and you can work with that. And, hopefully one day I will see these people on TV. It will be amazing.
Yeah.
There's something about seeing a father and son play golf together. There's something completely different seeing a father and daughter play golf. I don't know what it is. Maybe because I'm a father of girls, right? Yeah. Excuse me. But there's just something different about that when you see that on the course, and it's almost this kind of Andy Warhol moment where you see the dad and the girls. She's got her clubs on her back, and they're trudging to the range. Yeah. There's something that is very, very cool about that, and I hope that resurgence of females in golf and girls getting involved in it continues. Tell us about what First Tee is doing and some of the other organizations you might be a part of. Is there a magic bullet here? Is there something that we can say, look, let's just keep doing this as we are seeing this growth in the sport, especially when it comes to young kids and girls?
Yeah, I think definitely just raising awareness and having the programs, accessible, and recruiting and advertising. So we just, as many coaches and mentors as we can get, and more personalities and diversity, I think that's just growing and it's gaining more popularity. And Charlotte's going to get we've been selected for the 2021 President's Cup, which is amazing. That's going to bring a lot of publicity to Charlotte. I know First Tee is going to be involved in that from a volunteer aspect, marketing aspect, as well as hopefully an exposure to the kids to be able to go to the tournament or at least learn about the President's Cup and the PGA and professionals. So there's a lot of traction and movement, and I think we just kind of keep going in the same direction. Just stay positive, but really just raising awareness as much as we can, social media, however we can, because I really like the direction it's going. I think it's trending in a very exciting way.
Yeah.
I heard, Mike, did you hear her invite us to the President's Cup?
I didn't.
Okay. I thought maybe
you're invited.
I thought maybe
here you go.
I thought maybe I missed it. She did invite us.
Nice.
Good.
Like
Yep.
All right, so you talk about social media, and that's a great segue into a topic that Mike and I have conversations off the air about.
Yeah.
Is this social influencer? And I wouldn't call you that, and because I look at that as a very different connotation. 5 years ago, maybe there was something there. Today, the influence in golf, in my opinion, is not going to be on Instagram. It's not going to be met with the either instructional content or the guys wrecking golf carts or the other ridiculous things that are out there that are garnering followers, they're garnering likes, and these people, they're building their channels based upon only what is the most outrageous thing around golf. People setting things on fire at the course, right?
Yeah.
It is a complete distance from what we're trying to build and what the golf is. Mike, for you, do you see the social media influencer in golf hurting the actual feeling and emotional connection that somebody should have with the game today?
I would say there are probably some that do, but I think in general it helps to raise the profile of golf. But I think what you will see is the stuff that has real substance to it. A lot of the stuff like what Jennifer's doing, I think is more substance. I think that's the stuff that will catch on long term, and I think will kind of ride out. I think some of the other stuff, there's always going to be people lighting golf carts on fire. And
why?
And
why would anybody ever?
Because people are idiots.
Why would we ever have to say that sentence? There's always going to be somebody lighting a golf cart on fire. I ask why. Earth, tell me why. So,
it is what it is.
So Jennifer, you're cognizant of this fact that the social media influencer around golf, the social media influencer in general is just an incredible term to even be talking about. But do you see the disadvantages of being labeled as that in today's society because of all of the other knuckleheads that are lighting golf carts on fire? And what do we do to change that perception for the girls and the boys that are young and are on Snapchat and are on Instagram and they're seeing this game be portrayed in such a strange way? How do we combat that?
Yes, I do see the golf carts on fire. I see the people wearing very minimal clothing and things like that. So yeah, that's just something that we're going to unfortunately or fortunately, but in my opinion, just have to kind of deal with. And it's part of the way that the game is moving, but I think there are things that we can do to kind of redirect attention back to things that are also important about the game. At the end of the day, the game it's professional. It's one of the oldest games. There's a lot of tradition. It's there's a lot of very good qualities about it that I think are important to keep reminding people that, hey, what is a classy sport? And we can have fun with it. And it is a product of the generation. I mean, social media, things are fast paced. We want to golf faster. We want to move the game faster. We don't want to wait for slow players. We want to connect with people. We want businesses, products, everything faster. And the golf game, inherently it's a game of leisure. It's a game of taking your time and going out on a Sunday afternoon for 4, 5, 6 hours and, enjoying it and having fun. And that's just, there's kind of an inherent, I guess, tension between those two issues. And, I'm sure ultimately it's going to resolve in a way. I don't know what that way is, but just, I think it's important to kind of remember what's important to you and what's important to me. And that is preserving the game as much as I can, but also adapting because we are in modern times and it is taking a different digital direction. Yep. So, I definitely think that's out there, but
that's what we're
kind of good.
No, that's what Stick and Hack we're trying to do. We're trying to bring those stories of golf and that resurgence of, look, this is still fun and it can be entertaining, just in a sophisticated way that doesn't make people look like idiots, and that golf is just a bunch of guys trying to ramp a golf cart over a creek on some Muni course in Idaho. I mean, give me a break, right?
Yeah.
All right, so you have been quoted as saying, Jennifer Errington is our guest at Stick and Hack Show. Jennifer, you have been quoted as saying that some of your best moments in life were on the ice by yourself or on the course by yourself. So Mike and I, we talked about that quote. We thought that was so poetic and so just. And then we thought, well, maybe she just hates people. Is that true, please tell us the truth. Do you hate people?
No.
Okay.
No, I love people. Yep.
All right.
That's good.
That's a simple answer.
That's good.
No, I
it.
don't hate
it's
people.
honesty. I like honesty.
Don't hate people.
That's good.
All right, that's
good.
fair. All right, what's your favorite part of your story so far? Of your story, what's your favorite part?
I think the ability to live life and go in different directions and then come back to golf. And it's almost like I've never left it. You know, in a lot of ways, yeah, the technique's there, the scores, it is or it may not be what I want. But at the end of the day, the memories are there, the passion's there. And I think it's really, really cool because we all have our own lives. We're not fortunate enough to be professionals and do golf 24/7. And I think sometimes that's the perception on social media is that people are posting and golfing all the time and that's all that they do. And that's not true. I mean, like you said, I'm a lawyer, I'm doing other things. I just have a very, very, very strong passion for the game. So it's really cool to have watched over my life, to have started in the game and see all the ways that I developed the love for the game. And then took some time off, did life, did some other things, started a career going, but then I was able to come back to it. And golf is a lifelong sport. You know, it's a little bit different than skating. There are physical limitations that exist in skating as you get older that don't involve that aren't the same in golf. So it's cool that I can kind of see how I pick the sport back up and I can continue to play it the rest of my life. So I'm very, very excited about that.
Well, speaking of playing golf, can Mike and I come down and play golf in North Carolina with you?
Absolutely. Anytime.
Perfect.
They always say that. Every guest always says that.
We've never done it yet.
We've never done it one time. I think it's you. I think they're intimidated.
I think it's you.
Yeah, it probably is. All right, so Jennifer, we're going to hold you to that. Jennifer Errington, she is at birdiegirl_fit on Instagram. And if you live in North Carolina and need a lawyer, well, now you got one.
You got one.
Right?
Yeah.
Jennifer Errington, my thanks to you for being on the Stick and Hack Show. Continued success and continue changing lives at the First Tee as well as the other organizations you're part of. And we appreciate your time here on the show. Continued success as you try to find time through your busy schedule to play golf, the game we love.
Thank you so much.
All right, there she goes, Jennifer
Thanks,
Errington. Stick and Hack Show guest extraordinaire. Her Instagram is birdiegirl_fit, and go follow her. She's part of that resurgence of social media, bringing more people to the game. But what I like about her is that, she's got this whole life. She came back to golf, and now she's trying to bring that same passion to kids in North Carolina. Yeah,
it's a great story. I think she's doing some great stuff. And I love hearing stories about people that are a part of the game, and they're just trying to do whatever they can to promote it and you know,
and probably get see that face when someone of the kids when they light up and they hit that first tee shot. It's kind of like how I feel when I hit a tee shot square on the face.
On the square.
Yeah,
on the face. Or anywhere on the face.
Not in the hosel, which I just found out what that was the other day.